So thanks for coming through today. How long will you drive?
About an hour and a half. I've had quite a scenic drive though because I've come from a job. I've just been check on some of the lads on site. Had to sort a bit of an issue out, and we've got a job up in Leek, so we've come through the Staff Moorlands, through Buxton and all that.
Nice.
Up and over the hills and stuff. So it's been a nice drive, to be honest.
Typical trading, isn't it? I've got an appointment. I'm going to check on the lads before I get there. I love that.
Well, I had to, yeah. So something needed sorting, so it's not getting weight, is it?
Love it.
You can't have 4 or 5 lads standing round.
Nah,
on the
soon
money they
mounts
want
up,
now.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right, listen, why don't you introduce yourself, your company, where you're from and whatnot, and then we'll jump straight into it.
Yeah, so my name's Rob. A lot of people know me as the builder investor through social media. I try and get my face out there, part of the reason why I'm here today kind of thing. But yeah, I've been in construction for 31 years, run my own company. I've worked in, training people as well in a college when we had a bit of a lull in the industry.
Yeah.
And got into property probably 4 years ago when my old man passed away suddenly after the COVID jab.
Yeah.
It's kind of raised a few truths. I actually picked a book up purely down to the fact that it got dad in the title.
Really?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
It's just because it had dad in the
Just
title.
because it got asked, I was scrolling through because I was, I listen to music a lot because I'm into music in the van. And I just thought, spend a lot of time in the van. It's a good time to start learning something. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to do property, but there's always that myth there, isn't there?
Oh, God, yeah.
You need a load of money, and you kind of. So I read that book, and that's history. Like that's what got me into property finally, properly. I've been in and around property for a long time.
Yeah, construction
for
game,
landlords, people like that, and
Took the plunge 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was weird to be honest because it was like we spotted the usuals. Samuel, you can't help but not see them, can you? They're flipping everywhere. Samuel, Jamie York, kind of Rob Moore, all the usual suspects really. And I latched on to Jamie a little bit because I kind of identified with where he'd come from, and he had that story about losing his dad when he was younger and stuff. And that clicked with me because I'd just lost my dad. Obviously, my dad was a lot older than his and I was a lot older, but yeah, and started watching his videos. I tried a bit of trading at first, like, stocks and shares. That didn't work. I had 10 grand and I forget what it was, an index fund or something like that for a year, and it come back and it made about 12 quid. So
Results.
Yeah, that don't work. And all I kept getting off people was at least it hasn't made a loss. I'm like, well, if that's trading, then yeah, it's not for me.
Get me out.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, let's go right back then. So, left school. What did you do leaving school?
I left school a year early.
Yeah.
Because I was your typical builder. I wasn't very good at school, you know what I mean? I was a naughty kid. But when I look back, my school was my best years of my life because I had so much fun. Are you with me? And really messy. But yeah, I left a year early. I was looking for an apprenticeship, really, really struggling, because it was like mid-90s. That wasn't a good time, in the construction industry, mid-90s. So I couldn't really find anything. So I said to myself, if I don't find anything in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to sign up and go into the army, do a trade through that. And I was literally ready to sign up that week. And I thought, I'll try an advert. Not many people do this. I put my own advert into the local paper. Situation wanted, was looking for an apprenticeship, and someone seen it, thought it took initiative as a young kid to do that. Obviously, I didn't pay for it; my mother did, but yeah, and got an apprenticeship. And literally 2 weeks after, I was in Wimslow, working on at the time 150 grand houses, which are probably worth like best part of 1.2 million quid now. You know what I mean, for footballers and things like that. So,
yeah.
And
what trade?
Carpentry joiner by trade, but I'm pretty much multi-skilled, and through over the years been let down by other trades and stuff like that. And
well, don't you think it's mint, innit, with joinery? Because 9 times out of 10, they can be first on a site with shuttering, joinery, things like that, and then last to leave with snagging bits and pieces like chopping bottoms off at doors. So joiners pretty much do see a job from end to end. Yeah. They understand the fabric of the build, the structural integrities, things like that. So I'm obviously shop fitter, time served, which is a little bit more detailed. People think I say shoplifting.
I've done a lot of shop fitting.
Yeah.
In fact, we did a contract for a company called Zaff Shop Fitting in
But Zap?
Zaff, it was.
Down A what?
Yeah, they were called timber tailors for a while.
Right, okay.
So, and we did like all the holiday hypermarkets, Dorothy Perkins, Clark Shoe, all the big names. Are you with me? And then from there, I had a contract through Whitbread, who owned Premier Inn and Bristol Pubs, and we did, I think we did 110 Premier Inn floors.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? And you'd have 2 weeks, you'd go in, you'd rip the whole thing out on a floor, and you'd have to have it done in 2 weeks. So your counter charge would have a team of 10 lads.
Yeah. It's like in and out, and it's quite a quick turnaround.
It's really quick. And
shop fittings 24/7.
Yeah, and we've been in like British Home Stores at 3 o'clock in the morning. You fit like a row of gondolas, get them all set up. You know, company will come in then and stage them. But you're locked in. You can't get out till the next morning until the security guard comes. And
one of my funniest ones I did. I mean, we've all worked in like shopping centres and whatnot with shop fitting. But I did a Boots in Market Raisin. I can't remember the year. In the comments, someone might be able to remind me of this. But I just finished this Boots. Right, put the shelving up and everything on nights because it's shop fitting. It's open joint day. Anyway, early morning. They've come in. I'm like, yes, I know I've completed. They've checked it all up. Yeah, everything's tickety-boo, perfect. Done, dusted. That I had to go back that afternoon to get it all signed off and pick the rest of my tools up. Goes in and they're like, listen, we genuinely can't appreciate the hard work. Then they bought me this like little gift as a thank you. Anyway, that night. And I went, right, happy days. Well, I'll see you later. I'll not see you again. That was it. So that was like the afternoon of the night I'd just finished. Went home, done, dusted, like, didn't think out of it. And obviously, because of the nights, I didn't have no else on. That night, the earthquake hit, and it was the epicenter in Market Raisin, and it absolutely destroyed all my work what I'd just done.
Right.
And I got a call next morning saying, you're going to have to come back, rip it all out and redo it. I thought, I've just finished it all. But that shop fitting, you're straight back at it, aren't you?
Yeah, there's no worse, is there, when you've just finished something and you stand back and look at it and there's something wrong and you have to start again, or
Destroyed.
you have to rip it out. And yeah, there's nothing worse, no worse situation, but we get faced with that all the time, don't we?
Yeah, and I suppose that kind of builds our character, doesn't it? Who we are and what we are and what we're about. You know, it's that can-do attitude, and we'll get it boxed off. Yeah. So it really builds up who we are as people. And I think that's a point really to mention here on this podcast, because we have that kind of, if it's got to be sorted, we're the people to sort it, and we'll do it, especially on a construction site. All right, so join a carpentry served by trade, and then what happened there? Talk us through that.
Well, you progress, don't you? You progress through the ranks. When I was an apprentice, it wasn't your 2-year apprenticeship like it is now. I mean, it was 3 years, and then you had to do 2 years as an improver.
Yeah.
And you were treated like an apprentice for 5 years of your life. You're basically the dog's body kind of thing.
Tell us what you were treated like, because today it's woke, innit? You know, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I get in trouble all the time for saying this. Like this, my kids are like that, you know what I mean? And I've tried to bring them on in the way that I was brought up, but they get in a community, they get amongst people, especially when they go off to university or go to college or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I used to go to Wimslow from Stoke on a little 125, little TZR thing, which was my pride and joy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Saved up for years.
Tools in
my dad put me some money towards it, and I came home one day and it was on the drive waiting for me, like as. I used to go to work on this, spirit level strapped to the side of it, and everything tool bag on the back. People don't know they're born now, but one day I come back I was sent the chip, you pick an order of chips up for all the lads.
Yeah.
And I come back, and this 125's at the top of the scaffold, been lifted up by the forklift driver on a pallet.
Fuming.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, get me, this is like, I'm like knocking on for, you come back from dinner, had me dinner, didn't realise. So time I'd realised, 3 o'clock. Time I get hold of the forklift driver, he's ready to go home. And he's done one, he's gone home, you know what I mean? And I literally had to, at 17 years old, I had to let the keys were in the forklift.
Learn how to drive it.
Yeah. Luckily, my dad was always on machines and stuff. So as a kid, I was always driving machines. But they were thinking that I would basically just have to get home some other way, or didn't realise I lived in Stoke. They thought I was local. and I had to get that bike down, my pride and joy, on a big long reach forklift at 17 years old, and get my kit on and ride home.
It's a different world today, isn't it? Back then, you very quickly went from a boy to an adult, didn't you? You were I mean, I had hammers thrown at me. You name it, it happened.
I've had wood glue sprinkled in my hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Imagine how difficult that was. You had to shave my hair off, get it out.
Yeah, I had same, knackers glued up and whatnot, and 18th birthday, you're outside on a cross like this, like getting water chucked on you. That were part of it. Today it's seen as abuse. I'm not saying, condone that, but it were character building, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was to a you got the people that would take things too far, you know what I mean? But the other guys would quietly have a word with them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And put them in the place. But it was generally, it made you who you are. It kind of, you need resilience in today's world. And that's what a lot of people are missing out on. Everyone wants everything now. Instant gratification. Netflix, film, there, done. You haven't got to go to the video shop no more.
Yeah, Blockbuster's
you know what I mean?
gone,
You haven't got to go pick one and it's not in, so you've got to wait till next week till someone brings it back. You know what I mean? There's so much stuff. Food, you can order food and it'll be at your door in 10 minutes.
I know people who are ordering ketchup.
Yeah.
Just, the maximum, I'll get ketchup on Just Eat. They're paying like £8 for a couple of sachets of ketchup. You're like, what?
Yeah, it's just everything's now, here and now. Everyone wants everything. You know what I mean? No one wants to work for anything, really. And
no,
they've got no resilience to, I mean, some of the stuff I've been through, you know what I mean? I generally, a lot of the time nowadays, because I'm alone a lot of the time and in the office or, you know what I mean, looking at deals and things like that, I talk to ChatGPT quite a lot now. I've I'm using it so much. And it's kind of, you can almost get yourself into that trap of thinking it's a real person. Are you with me? yeah. But it's that resilience of being able to, okay, I'm going to be on my own all day today. A lot of people wouldn't cope with that and they'd like give the job up. I mean, I've had people give jobs up for a lot less on site. The amount of apprentices that we used to have to go through, because I'm a big advocate of training lads up and having apprentices. Yeah. Because of the world I come from. But the amount that you had to go through to find a good one a bit later on in my career was crazy.
Well, let's talk about it. I mean, listen, in our construction company, we've gone from having like 40 odd, and we've narrowed it down internally to rebuild properly. So getting rid of like egotistical people, things like that. But we don't want the superhero who thinks he's God's gift or she's God's gift, things like that. We want people who are team players, people who are going to care about what they do and ultimately provide a better quality finish. Mm-hmm. And going into the calibre of individuals today versus the calibre of individuals that came out of college when we was younger, the two worlds are different, aren't they? Mm. And a lot of that, I think, we've touched on is how you're treated, how you're trained, how you are conditioned. But then equally, I think people, i.e. parents, have been a big issue.
Yeah, parenting is massive, I think. But the whole thing, the building industry in general, very much more recently rather than the last 10 years, but it's been going on for 10 years. The construction industry has been treated badly by everyone. You know what I mean? We've had the likes of programs like Builders for Mal, which have basically tarred us with an horrible brush kind of thing for so long that everyone wanted 10 quotes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just to make sure. But they were, well, we'll go back to that when I talk about my masterclass, but people ask for a quote. You don't even know what they're asking for a quote for. Yeah, that's and then they wonder why they're getting 10 different types of quotes. So
apples and pears, isn't it? You're not asking for the same thing.
No scope of works, drawings are crap, stuff like that. But back to apprenticeships.
Well, just on that, you said something really there. Builders did get a bad name, and one pet hate I want to say, just for the purpose of this, is I hate when people call road tradespeople cowboy builders. Yeah. Stop it. Stop calling them cowboy builders. A cowboy's a cowboy. He rides horses. He rounds bloody horses up in the field. A builder is someone who lays bricks. He builds houses or, whatever it may well be. The two are completely different. Call a poor quality tradesperson a rogue tradesperson. Yeah. Someone who's trying to imitate a builder is a rogue tradesman.
Well, we had coming out of the 90s, we had, with that hardship that I was just talking about when I found my apprenticeship, we had that bit of an hardship, and then we'd come back round again, and it was booming for a little bit. So every man and his dog was buying a van and becoming a tradesperson. You know what I mean? But we've just had exactly the same through COVID. Yeah. No one could work. Everyone was getting paid furlough. You know what I mean? You could just go out and buy a van and it was a perfect opportunity for a lot of people that were thinking of going into business. Yeah. Too scared to leave the job meant that they could be furloughed, so they were still getting paid, and then they could start that little construction business up because they were quite handy. You know what I mean? I know. We've got 3 or 4 painter decorators on my books that are not qualified. They've just picked it up over COVID. Are you with me?
Yeah, yeah.
So give them the due. They're all right. They're pretty good. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of crap that's come through. Hence why the price of vans and stuff absolutely shot up. Everyone was delivering parcels or getting into the trades and stuff like that.
Or converting a van into
we could still work. We were allowed to work. Yeah. But apprenticeships, there's a lot of kids that come through now that want to be football players.
Or YouTubers. And here we are.
Yeah. I understand it, you know what I mean? I love the word of social media and YouTube and stuff like that. It's great because where can you get this kind of exposure pretty much for free?
Yeah, yeah.
There's nowhere else, you know.
No, it's
anyone
got its purpose,
not using it is crazy.
Yeah.
But there's a difference in between an influencer and someone with influence.
Absolutely.
Are you with me? There's a massive difference.
Yeah, huge.
So someone with influence is generally trying to give you value, trying to teach you, trying to, educate you in the way of how they've lived a life or whatever, or how they trade or whatever. But with an influencer, they're generally trying to sell a product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's completely different. I mean, let's talk about those worlds then. So when we were younger, the volume of tradespeople were vast compared to today. Mm-hmm. Kids today do want to go into YouTube or they want to go into TikTok or maybe even sports, whatnot. We're not driving as a nation, as a country. We're not driving people into apprenticeships. So we've got a huge shortage.
We're doing the opposite, in my opinion.
Well, in terms of driving more people in?
Yeah, because getting into an apprenticeship now, the barrier to entry is quite steep. Are you with me? Years ago, well, I've just said it myself. I left school a year early to come into an apprenticeship to start in construction.
Yeah.
You can't do that now. You've got to leave. You've got to stay in full-time education until you're 18. So you've got to be doing a proper apprenticeship. You can't just go work for, Bill and Jones thing and being an apprentice. Yeah. So it's got to be a proper time. You've got to go to college, day release, and all that lot. But you can't come into certain trades now unless you've got certain exam results.
Yeah, I mean, we pick up. I think we pick them up at 14-year-old now. And they're coming to it with us through, it could be alternative provision or it could be actually the school referring them in because they're just not getting on with school. The landscape is changing, you are absolutely right. But what we're seeing is the volume of young people, their desire in the last 10 years has not been going to construction. Yeah. It's been going to it could be YouTube, it could be TikTok, it could be...
Let's face it, it's not sexy, is it?
No, it's not.
I'm sitting here now, my back's twinging a little bit. That's because of what I was doing yesterday. Yeah. With me. So it's
graft, though, isn't it?
It's hard work, it's graft, and with the likes of, be financially free in 30 days bollocks, everything that's peddled. Now, I mean, social media is amazing, but it's got a lot to answer for as well.
Yeah, loads of it.
You know what I mean? There's some of the shit that's peddled across is... you know what I mean? Who'd want to come into this world when they can see the others? They can see this side of it instead.
Huge. That's the difference. What I said to my lad Harley, he's 13 now, and he's got the world at his fingertips. There's like every child, they can do whatever they channel their brain to do. But what I'll say to him is you get your hands and turn it to a trade. You are going to be absolutely thriving in several years and whatnot, because not many people want to go into the trade. So some people are going into it because they're forced into it, not because they want to do it. And you said something just touched on earlier, in that those that were kind of putting their fingers to it, that I'll try it, they'd back out of it because it's not actually what they truly want.
Much of a a situation for them to push them straight back out of it, kind of thing.
Yeah, because it's tough,
and because they know nowadays that if I backed out, my mum would have
slap
up the ear.
Ready, yeah?
I had to pay board. As soon as I left school, I had to pay board. I wouldn't have been able to pay that. So potentially, it could have been out on my ear, kind of thing. Are you with me? There was consequences to your actions back then.
Someone said this once to me recently.
Not no more.
The consequence isn't great enough.
Yeah.
And we've become soft as a nation. And there'll be people who listen to this and say, "Oh no, you leave my little boy or girl alone."
My own kids would. My own kids are very... Well, they're very much more political than I was at their age, put it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're political, they're talking about what's happening in Syria and with the Egypt. And, I didn't know any of that, you know what I mean? All I cared about was whether my motorbike was running well or my car a bit late, you know what I mean? Or what I could spend my money on my car.
Yeah.
yeah, and maybe my girlfriend at the time. That's, you know what I mean?
It's what was at your nose end, really, wasn't it?
Yeah,
What you laid your eyes on.
Yeah. And I kind of regret that a little bit now, because of what I'm doing now, I could have done a lot sooner if I'd have had that. But, you know, I was brought up single mother. My dad was off. You know, they got divorced, didn't get on. And so I suffered a little bit in that way. So,
but social media weren't around back then, were it?
No, I mean, I can remember the first days of MySpace.
Yeah, God,
you know what I mean? When MySpace, and because I was into music massively at the time. At that time, I owned a music shop as well as a construction company.
Nice.
Because I liked it. With my passions, I'm all or nothing. You know what I mean?
Right,
if I'm doing something, I'm doing it to the best of my ability, and I'm all in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I ended up with a music shop and, you know, selling guitars, drums, basses, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, I need you to hook up with a really good friend of mine. He's a chef now, Michael Price. Big shout out to Michael Price. He's got his own restaurant in his home, but Michelin star chef. He is unreal, and in fact, you should get his details and go if you can. It's like a booking only kind of thing. But he used to work in a guitar shop, in Doncaster, where all your famous musicians would come to Doncaster from all over the world, and he would see, no matter if it's from Oasis, it could be any band, you name it. They want a guitar, they went to his shop. But I'm sure you used to have some great synergy if you had a guitar music shop.
Yeah. It's kind of, I fell out of love with it a little bit, because this is what I do. I turned it into a job. And I mean, I played in bands as well for years and years and years.
Is it?
And when you're doing that for three nights a week, plus trying to work on a building site as well,
exhausting.
I mean, it gets exhausting, and it turns something you love into, you start regretting. You know what I mean?
I love that though. So, give it a bit of context around that. Did you have to get guitar back on bike and whatnot?
Well, it wasn't that far back. Obviously, like when I was in bands, I was driving, I was running a bit. It was a bit later on in life. But yeah, it was like get home from work. Obviously, I was back on. I was on the tools then.
Shit show,
get home from work.
Out to a gig.
Empty my tools out the van.
Yeah.
Get all the PA, guitars, cabs, everything into the van.
That.
Yeah, and then, drive to a local pub or wherever it is you're gigging, be set up for like 6 o'clock.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? 6, 7 o'clock-ish.
So you're already on clock anyway?
Yeah, because obviously you've got to be set up before punters start coming in.
Yeah.
You don't be setting up when they're coming in. So you set up and then you're waiting round then. You don't start till about 8:30, 9 o'clock, till it's full.
Yeah.
And then you'll play your set. You're sober, everyone else is
hammered up,
dropping the drinks all over your expensive equipment and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? I loved it for years. And then, you finish at like 12 when the pub's ready shut. Then you can't just pack up and go. You've got to wait till the pub empties out.
Yeah.
So you wait for the pub empty out. You probably have a drink while you're waiting or something like that, and talk to a few of the regulars. And and load the van back up then, drive home. And then you got a choice to make. Am I leaving the van full, potentially getting all the stuff nicked, or am I getting it out now at like 2 o'clock in the morning?
Out it goes, tools and
bearing in mind, if it was a midweek gig, you got to be up for work the next day.
Yeah.
And I'd worked a lot of weekends as well. It stopped when I started the Premier Inns, the shop fit,
because
I was away from home pretty much 6-7 days a week, like for 3 or 4 weeks at a time.
But that's shop fitting though, isn't it? I like that. So again, we're going back to sort of like the disciplines, what you've sort of like gone through. Those don't really exist today. Everything, people just want it all now, don't they? Mm-hmm. And I think that's the big thing, that a bit of a message what we're saying now in terms of recruitment. It's the caliber of the individual who's coming into this game. It's free and rock hard in this industry. I know we can probably say, well, it's easy now, but no, we've been through that period.
Honestly, I'm
still rock hard.
30 years in, and we're hitting a period now where I know it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
So we try and batten down the arches, you know what I mean? I'm telling all my subcontractors, we have subcontractors that, like an electrician, for instance, or a plumber or someone like that, and, we give them regular work. And it always bugs me when they'll take me and put me on a back burner to go and do like a boiler fit where they know they're going to earn a lot more money. But they don't look at the longevity at work. And I keep saying to them, we're in for a bumpy. You need to look after your regulars, because Mrs. Jones will just stop spending.
Yeah.
Whereas we've got to keep going, so we'll keep pushing your work. Are you with me?
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm into the development stuff. It's about now we're trying to put a bit of an ecosystem together where one company feeds the other, you know what I mean? We bring developments in, the building company builds them. We've got a company that like moves them, sells them on. Are you with me? It's all.
That's the whole point. You've got to be self-sustainable, aren't you?
Yeah.
I think so. Ultimately, this comes down to thinking differently. So going back to like the early days with like shopping and things like that, you might rip something out with the intent to quickly put something back in its place, but you could find something which stops you from fitting it. You have to then fix that, get over it, and I think that's exactly what we're talking about. It's that pivot move. It's that mindset to problem solve. You're absolutely right. We're going to enter some tough times, but we're always in tough times. The challenge just
there's always an issue, isn't there? There's always something going on that you've got to get over. But I said to myself when I drove up here, I was not going to try and talk about politics. But I've never been political ever. I've never been involved in politics. Never really bothered about it until this year, till this government that we've got now. But they say people never get involved in politics till they start being affected by it.
Yeah.
And it is what this government are doing now is, you know, they want to build these millions of houses, 1.5 million, whoever it is. Yet the people that are going to build them for them, they're treating like absolute shit at the minute.
Yeah.
You know I mean, there's 3, 4 returns a year, you know what I mean? Yeah. You've got to have ID to be a company director, you've got to do this, you know what I mean? Your VAT, apparently in the next month's going to come down to 30 grand threshold.
I've heard of 30 grand threshold,
You know, all the stuff that they're doing to hurt us because they think they can tax grab from us, is only hurting the end user, which is the customer. And
it's the general public as well.
Looking after,
It's a false pretense. Ultimately, what this is happening, and it really is destroying us. We talk a lot about AI. You spoke about ChatGPT and certain things like that, and there's a big sort of like a big smoke screen over the UK. So, we're going to be the biggest, the globe's leading expert. That's a lie as well. We haven't got the physical money like America or China have, and we really haven't got the infrastructure, the power. It costs us too much money. So when you look at that and you go, our landscape is just completely broken compared to like America and China.
We were good at certain things in this country. Gone. We were good at manufacturing, engineering, you know what I mean? All those things we were really good at, and it's slowly disappearing. And if the construction, and I say this all the time, the construction industry is the biggest industry in the world. No two ways about it. If you put the supply chain around it as well, that's going to lose out on so much. But it's massive. The domino effect. I don't think they realise just how important it is to. No, they don't. They've always been, you know.
It's an easy,
left
quick,
alone, aren't we?
Yeah, from a political standpoint, it's an easy tax grab. But yeah, what it's going to do is send us not necessarily a recession. It'll send people into depression. Sending people out of the industry.
Yeah, I have this conversation pretty much every week at a builder's merchants. I'll see someone. Let's call him Ron, for instance. Hey, look, Ron, I'm seeing you for what are you up to? Yeah, I'm getting out.
Yeah.
I have that conversation now 4 or 5 times a week that people have been in the industry, good tradesmen producing good work for good money, who've been doing it a long time. You're like, I've had enough, I'm getting out. I'm going to drive a van for DPD or, you know, what? So many people are getting out of the industry.
What's really, like, frustrating for me is that the backbone of the UK's construction scene retiring. They've been retiring for 5 years. They're retiring. So the baby boomers.
Well, it's aging. The construction average age has gone up from, what was it, 30 something up to 50 something now.
Yeah, it's more.
So it's like,
they're going to be gone. They're the backbone of the industry. We've got then the millennials and whatnot behind them. Now, I mean, our era is going to be coming to thinking, this is rough. You know, don't get me wrong, there's a couple of people, baby boomers, down to millennials, people below us, Gen X, Gen Zs, whatnot, coming through. They're never going to have the freedom of what we had to build something because, like you just said it with the VAT threshold. So a man in a van gets a bit giddy, gets excited, he gets trained apprentice. He then says, I want to start a business. Well, get ready, mate. You're going to be competing against the ultimates because your VAT threshold now is 30 grand. So before you've even learned how to fail in a business, you're going to be capped instantly. Yeah. So big corporate companies are going to get all these tradesmen who are going to quit, get a job, and they're going to be quoting for the same jobs. You've got absolutely no chance in competing for that work. And that, you're right, people are going to exit before they even start to flourish.
Yeah. It's massive. So, yeah, there's no apprentices coming through. There's people working later in life.
Yeah.
You go on a building site. Now, when I was a kid, like 16, 17, you'd have that one guy, that one old bloke. You know what I mean? He was there as a token, you know what I mean? Took him like 3 weeks to put a truss roof on. Yeah. But he was just doing it because he didn't want to go home to his missus or, you know what I mean? you had that one person that you saw now and again. Now the whole workforce is aging. Are you with me? They're all 50 different. Plus and
it's different.
Struggling to make the money.
It's different. It's hand to mouth. So one thing that got me was way back when it needed one person to go and be the breadwinner, the other person to raise the children and keep the house in order. Eventually then that turned into, well, actually, if we want to go on holiday, we need 2 wages coming into the house. So we need to get the children into care, and both mum and dad would go out to work and provide money into the household. Then we can do an holiday. Well, that's happened now for quite a few years. When you look at the landscape now, a house needs both incomes for the house to sustain, not just flourish and have a few holidays here and there. It needs both incomes to actually sustain the outcome.
But if you go back to the original start of that, you know what I mean? You needed childcare. You didn't send your kids to an expensive nursery.
No.
Your mum and dad, the grandparents helped.
Always there.
Now
available.
they can't because they're still working themselves because retirement age has gone up. Are you with me? So everyone's working now. No one's getting the chance to enjoy life. So
I think
sounds a bit down, doesn't it? This
no, but yeah, well,
but
it's reality.
It is, yeah.
It's reality. I think the biggest misconception about all of this is, and we spoke about politics, is that where is this money going? Where's the smoke screen? Because they're talking about a big 20 million black hole. And you go, well, 20 billion, sorry. That's a big black hole. But when you look at how much impact of the taxes that they're going to look to impose, that's going to be more than 20 billion.
Yeah.
So where's this money
gets
going?
Lost easily. Well, you'll know yourself running construction jobs. You know what I mean? Quite easily lose 10 grand on just being a couple of weeks over or something like that. Are you with me? Everything's so expensive. Well, look at materials. That's part of the industry. That's what's crippling the industry.
Well, look at one of the biggest tax implications, that how it's going to affect construction in 2026. The biggest one is the landfill tax.
Yeah.
And we've seen
3,000% left on it. On
3,000%.
That's like... Yeah, I did a post on it on... I think it was either LinkedIn or Facebook last week. Went crazy.
Yeah.
People had no idea. But again, it's you know, they're doing it to impact us. All we're going to do is pass the cost on to the customer, which is the people they're trying to help, the general
Same
public,
as renters' rights.
the working people.
Yeah, it's going to get passed on. Of course, it has to, because who in the right mind can absorb that? You'd be bankrupt. Yeah. What blows my mind?
2 choices. You either pass it on to the end user, or you stop working.
Or you stop working.
Stop trading.
Yeah, done.
And that's another scenario. That's why people are coming out of the industry. So
yeah, people are selling up, people are quitting. We can see that all the time. We've seen it clearly. You know, this is happening up and down country. And what you've got is giddy investors coming in at early doors going, I'll do this. Probably still doing the same, running the same deal sheet that they were running maybe 6 months ago.
Talk to me about property investors and refunds.
There's a lot of a lot of education needed there, and I know you've got the masterclass going, which is, again, we'll plug that up as well. But the biggest thing for me is they need to have a finger on the pulse what is going off. These refurbishments are going to be blown out of budget because of these tax changes, implications on November 26th.
They're not a great customer to work for in the first place. Someone who's doing something to make money, ultimately you're taking from their bottom line, the profit. So the more you cost, the less they make. So it's natural that they're going to want it cheaper. Are you with me?
Yeah, but there's some training providers encouraging them to... Again blows my mind. Some training providers encourage their students to stress their builder and push the price down. They don't have any idea that if an accident happened on that site and their price was pressed that much, and there was, some hardship going off behind the scenes, and there was an accident, they have caused that accident by putting them under financial constraints. Mm-hmm. So under the CDM regulations, which are there to protect us, the build teams, they could find themselves in hot water. So these training providers, and this is a shout to you, they need to watch out what they say.
Training providers encourage project management as well by people that are not qualified.
Let's stop that.
That's fully illegal, you know what I mean? It's like, there's all kinds of stuff that goes on, and I've been through training myself. I come into property, I went through a lot of training, paid a lot of money, wish I hadn't have done kind of thing. You know what I mean? Knowing what I know now, but that's another lesson.
Learning lessons in it,
yeah, and some of the things I hear from people that know better as well. Not, you know what I mean? Some of them generally don't know any better. They're just literally trying to sell a course.
Yeah.
Whereas some of them do. Yeah, they'll still peddle the shit even though they know that it's wrong.
Yeah, I think they know the audience as well. So they know the audience. If they just get on camera, they're going to buy it anyway. And you think, oh, come on, shame on you. Do better. Be better. I think in a world of uncertainty and in a world of turmoil, and the UK is really, really towing right now in terms of the global footprint, we really need to unite, come together, and actually look for the opportunity and how we can actually help each other up. It is becoming extremely tough times. And I mean, for me, there is excitement on November 26th because we do have clarity at that point.
Yeah.
We just need it announced, and we need it announced fast. Whatever it may be, we'll deal with the change and we can make and pivot whatever we need to. But this uncertainty is really, really, like a lot of the...
It's affecting everything. We've just found a great deal, you know what I mean? 3 units, 3 houses, decent money, but massive GDV, set to make, 500 grand profit. Not be sniffed at whatsoever, you know what I mean? Struggling to get landing on it on our terms where we need it to be.
Really?
Because the lenders know that everything's uncertain. They know there's a budget coming. Yeah, they're preaching they've got this record amount of money and they need to get out. They need to get this money out because if the money sits there, it's not making any money. So, and they lend it from the bigger people, but they still haven't got the appetite at the minute, and it's due to what's going on at the minute.
So when you look at the full circle, it's money that makes the world go round. And so the people who have the money want more money, so they leverage it out and lend it and say, go and get me more money. But they put more caveats in there. They put more red tape in there. And
it's about risk, isn't it? They don't want to take the risk, but they still want the profit. You know what I mean? That deal, if I did that deal, it would be roughly 180 grand's worth of interest their way for just lending me the money, plus all exit fees, set-up fees, probably knocking on for 200 grand their way on that deal. Now, if you're going to earn 200 grand in the space of, 6 to 8 months, by doing nothing, you've got to put up with some risk, surely.
Yeah, it's changing now, and everyone wants a personal guarantee. Yeah. We're getting invited into deals because we're coming with the build and whatnot, same as you and whatnot. But the reality is lenders are knowing where the experts lie. And they're saying, right, we either want them in the deal or you're offering up a PG. PGs are getting thrown out like no tomorrow at a minute.
PGs are worth nothing.
It worth absolutely nothing.
I can go home now and write 20 PGs with no basis for writing them, are you with me? So
still a lot of people are scared by them, and you're absolutely right. They're not worth the paper they're written on, really, when you think about it. I know that it does carry a lot of legal weight and there is definitely huge concern there. But if people are going to sign a PG with the wrong intent, well, you're asking for it. But if you've got good intent, people don't want to call a PG in, so they will find the better ways out of it. But you're right. The red tape is stopping deals from going forward. And then when it comes to these investors, and you mentioned something that they are the wrong people to work for, and it's 9 times out of 10 because, they're looking at their 20, 30% profit margin. So the reality of the costs when it comes to their table, they're like, it's going to cost me more money. That means my profit's going down. Yeah, but no one's stealing from you. This is what it is. If you've got a bit of damp in a property that needs to be done, you've got to do it. You can't just say no to it. You can't just say, do me a favour, can you just half your labour charge because I want this done because I want to hit my profit? Like, what is going on?
That's what's happening. But it's not just investors themselves, coming through the world of education, a lot of people are taught how to deal source to get into property. Now, I started like, are you with me? And it's a great way into it, but they don't teach them about, when they talk about deals, everyone comes up with that saying that the numbers don't lie. Yeah. And it's right, the numbers don't lie. It's facts and figures are facts and figures. Simple. They don't lie. But one of the biggest numbers is your refurb cost.
Huge.
So if you get that wrong,
it's like
pardon the French, you know what I mean? Yeah, so, and people are not understanding that, they find this deal, they go, 10 grand refurb. It's like, well, no, it doesn't work like that. Are you with me?
People are still quoting HMOs on amount per room, and it blows my mind. You can do that at the back end when you finish and you spent every penny.
The standard's completely changed, you know what I mean? But you walk in here now, this studio, it looks phenomenal, doesn't it?
The amount of money
Everyone
changes.
wants this standard, but they won't pay this kind of price.
Yeah, it blows my mind. Well, we spoke earlier, didn't we, about the FMB and whatnot, and being proud members of the FMB. There are the perks, and it's people now... and I think you said this, don't you? People do not look at that to say, "Oh, I'm going to hire you because you've got that." And it's like, well, where were your standards? You want this? Well, that comes with that accreditation. You're not going to hire. You're not even bothered about that. You want a visual standard. That's all you want, but you want it for peanuts. Yeah. But in order to get that, people need accreditations. They need standards. They need qualifications. A qualification to me can either be time served, i.e. physical time doing the do, and you have learnt those standards, or you've been to college, you've done it, and you've learnt it the other hard way. Either which way, you then need to be proven your worth. Well, that comes at a cost. So being an accredited body can actually qualify that and pre-vet it down for you. Yeah, good. That means you're in safe hands. But some people, you're right, and they'll go for, well, how much? No, I need it to be that price, and that's all I've got. I don't expect that quality.
I think where the likes, I mean, we were members of Federation of Master Builders, Master Craftsmen, Federation of Master Craftsmen. We were members
Guilds.
of them. Guild, wasn't it? Sorry, yeah. And something else where actually at one point I had letters after my name.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it was. It was when I was teaching.
MSc?
But, it was something like that. But it was an invite only kind of thing. Are you with me? But when I say invite, you still paid a fee to join.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Everything's a fee.
But I used to point people to it on our website, and they were like, oh, right, yeah. And they weren't, you know what I mean? Didn't get us any work particularly, because all they were interested in was, one, my face, see me every day, which is why social media is massive. And to be honest, this is probably correct. They wanted to see your last job.
Yeah,
you're only ever as good as your last job, kind of thing.
I don't mind that. That's great. But when it comes to, like, you'll know this yourself. You're not the one doing everything in that refurb. There's a lot of people to it. You know, even from the bloody merchants who provide the gear, they're still part of it. Now, one big bearer of mine, what people don't ask when they're hiring a build team, is they don't go to these merchants and say, oh, what are these like as a contractor? They don't ring local authorities up and say, hey, have you had any complaints about his contractor? They don't do the due diligence on them. And you think, you're about to hire someone just because of what you've seen. Well, their standards might be different to your standards. You need to do a lot more due diligence. And that, for me, is what the benefit of the FMB is. They do that due diligence.
Yeah. But where I think they fall down nowadays is they haven't kept up with the times, with the likes of social media and stuff like that. It's not the fact that being in the FMB isn't worth being in. And it is, like you've said, it's accreditation. It's quite difficult to get in, and you have to meet certain standards. But people don't know about the FMB, so they don't know that.
Yeah,
so if they
defining
publicise
people,
it
we're talking a lot
more,
of homeowners or investors, don't we? Yeah,
yeah.
And you're right.
Take like Trust a Trader, where you can just advertise your business, but apparently it's vetted. We've been on there for 15 years now.
Is it vetted?
They don't really vet you. It's bollocks, you know what I mean? When you get a review, they don't ring them and check it's a real person for the review.
Don't they?
No, none of them do. Check a Trade, Trust a Trader, not. They all say they do. None of them do. You're basically paying for a subscription. So this is where we're getting the cowboy builders that are taking advantage of stuff like that. But Trust a Trader's a business. They're trying to get as much money in as possible. If they start vetting people to a certain point,
it'll cost a lot of money, that, isn't it?
It costs them a lot of money, and a lot of people wouldn't make it in there. So there's the money they've lost for their subscription as well.
So that's mind-blowing. So Trust the Trader don't vet the reviews?
They're supposed to do, and they probably do 1 in 100 or something like that. I was with them for 20... no, it wasn't 20. About 15 years I was with them for. We've just come away from them this year because we didn't really get much from it. And I can't even remember asking one of my customers whether the review was real in 15 years.
It's mad. I mean, listen, in a way, it's a backhanded compliment to you in that, obviously, you're only good as your last job. So obviously, if your good job's good, and great. And obviously, I'm sure you'll tell your up-and-coming customers, yeah, go and see it. Check them all out. You know, it's there.
Well, we can't do that no more because of the IOC. You know what I mean? Like, you can't give customers' numbers out no more and stuff like that. Yeah. So, you can come and see the job I'm working on now, or I can go 6 months back. I can't go any further back than that no more because it breaches Data Protection Act. And it's like, make your mind up, you know what I mean? I'm trying to help people and make them, get an informed choice. But, things like company's house is your friend. You can go and check how long the company's been running, things like that. You can do basic stuff from your laptop at home.
But how hard is it for a customer to hire a builder today? It must be really hard because they want all that safety kind of guarantee. They must want it. I mean, who wouldn't, right? But yeah, there's a lot of these TV shows that you've been out, so they're scared straight away. They've got their backs up against the wall. They're like, oh. And then they go, right, I want to see a good builder. They don't see any because all the good ones are busy. So then who do they get? They have to pick probably the rogue tradespeople.
I had that conversation with a customer. I had it yesterday. Got a customer. We're doing such and such. Forget what it was now. It might have been an extension or something like that, or a refurb. And yeah, we need it starting in about 2 weeks. I was like, no, absolutely no chance. Right, okay, we'll keep ringing round. And as they're about to put the phone down, I'll just say, look, I'm not saying this because I want you to wait for me, but if you find someone that can drop on it in 2 weeks, I'd be a little bit worried as to why they're
Get
not.
them alarm bells ringing.
Yeah, and it's like, I know there's people struggling at the minute. They're not getting the work in, but it's not because it's not out there. It's because they're bad at at promoting, marketing, promotion and stuff. But people still should be busy. Are you with me?
So if you could summarise a bit of what we've set up, 3 lessons. If you was to talk to a customer client right now who's potentially looking to hire a build team, what are the top 3 tips that you'd sort of like tell them?
Well, first off, every builder and his everyone out there who's in this industry should be using some kind of social media platform now. And it's quite easy to follow what they're doing. If they're posting daily photos, you can see what's underneath the plaster. You know what I mean? You can see what's going on. You know if the site looks an absolute tip all the time. There's things you can pick up on, little red flags that all mount up. Are you with me? So the big one is follow them for a bit, see what they're doing, you know what I mean? Ask them if you can go and pop on site and see what they're doing.
Yeah, love that.
And try and look at a job at different stages. Not just a finished product. Like we've just been talking about the Premier Inns. They look fantastic on the top, on the surface. When you like pop your head underneath the sink and stuff like that, bits of plain 4x2 with 4-inch screws sticking out, and all kinds of garbage that we refused to do, but that's what they wanted because it was fast and you know what I mean. We're only bothered what people can see when they come in the room.
Yeah.
Not the longevity and stuff like that.
It's bad. So social media, big one, yeah.
Social media is a massive one. I do advocate getting on company's house and just doing a bit of research, finding out what the director is about, how many companies he's involved in, how many that have, if any of them just disappeared, dissolved, stuff like that.
Red flags.
There can be genuine reasons for that. We've changed name a couple of years ago, so it looks weird on company's house. Yeah,
that's fine.
But and then I would say places that vet. You know what I mean? Become like the FMB and stuff like that. Obviously, I've just mentioned, Trust a Trader and Check a Trader. Yeah, go and look at the reviews, but speak to the builder about those reviews. Because if you've just read them all, they're fresh in your mind. That builder's probably not seen them reviews for some time.
Yeah.
So pick his brains on them, and if he starts making mistakes about what's been written, because they weren't related to their jobs, that's going to ring alarm bells that the two don't.
I love
together.
that.
Are you with me?
So it's a bit more vetting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's personal vetting. Are you with me? So and just recommendations are always good. If you know someone who's had some work done by them, go and have a look at it and say, how were they? Did they turn up on time? It's just little things that matter. Did they turn up on time? Did the job get done when it was supposed to do? You know what I mean? What were the lads like? Because it's all right getting on with the guy that's coming to price to work and his clean clothes and his his folder or his laptop or whatever. What are the lads like that work for them? Are they all swearing, smoking, drinking on? That's the last thing you want. You want good lads that are going to toe the line, be helpful, be polite, get the work done. You know what I mean?
It's really good tips.
Lads are lads, you know what I mean?
Lads
are always going to be lads.
Yeah. Listen, we've got some incredible women that come in and work with us, and I think you're absolutely right. I think our biggest thing in terms of going out and seeing the people is, get them out on socials as well. I know not everyone wants to go on socials, but it's important that you do showcase who works for you, because you're right. There are some absolute horror stories out there, and we've seen them.
Yeah. For instance, you could have a really good reputable company that's, decided that they need lads. So he's asked another lad that works for him, he's asked a mate in the pub. There's no vetting going on there. He could be on the sex offenders list or anything. Are you with me?
Absolutely.
So
that's true. That's a really good top tip.
You'd struggle to find stuff out like that, but you could generally get a gist for what people are like. Are you with me? If someone's had a job done by them.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they'll spend a lot of time in their house. An average extension's taking 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time to spend in someone's house around people.
Yeah, of course.
So the kind of person you are will rub off on that client. Are you with me?
Absolutely.
So
you're building relationships, aren't you? It's good.
Yeah.
No, absolutely love that. So, Rob, just to wrap it up, kind of thing, who? So you're known as Rob, obviously, but how can people find you?
Instagram's probably the best one, even though I'm probably more I was going to say popular then, but that sounds a bit pompous, doesn't it? But I've got a slightly bigger following on Facebook. So yeah, Facebook, Instagram, the Builder Investor. But I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok. I try and do a bit of everything just to get my face out there, because I do this refurbishment masterclass. Obviously, I rely on social media to promote that, to kind of market it. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So that's what the social, and obviously raising investment, building up trust, and people getting to know you and things like that.
No, it's good, because not only that, you're actually a product of what you're preaching as well. You are doing it as well, which is, again, kudos to you for doing that, credibility building there. But listen, Rob, can't thank you enough for coming on today, driving away. It's about an hour and a half, I think you said, didn't you? Incredible. Listen, get in touch with Rob on the socials. I'm sure he will give you a wealth of knowledge. I'm absolutely sure of it. But listen, thank you so much for coming down today.
No problem at all, mate. Cheers
buddy. Thank you.